Hi, it's been a while since I've been here on YouTube, but I am back with a few projects to come. Today I'm going to make a 12 by 12 scrapbook page with my Sparkle City collection from American Crafts and this cloud background cut file by Paige Evans, which you can find Paige's cut files either on her Etsy store or on the Silhouette store. And there are links to all those sorts of things down below in the YouTube description. I just wanted to give you a quick look at how versatile this could be, because this blue cloud paper in the background here is actually one I'm not planning to use on this page. But when I was choosing the papers that I wanted to use, it made me realize I want to cut another one of these straight away and do a layout with this background, but with a nighttime photo. So that's the stargazing paper that has this cloud print on it, and I love it with the white clouds on top. And either you could fill the clouds with the blue paper, or the blue paper could be the background and you could fill the clouds with something else. Either way, I really like it. But today I'm using this daytime pastel photo and I wanted to do something a bit lighter. So I'm going to use this blue B-side. It's the B-side to It's Wonderful. That's going to be my background. These white clouds are going to go right over the top to fill the whole page, and I'm going to fill them with 3 different patterns. A yellow polka dot, which is it is a B-side, but I've taken this one from the paper pad, so it's a single sided paper. These pink and white flowers, which are the B-side to Tour Guide, which is the matte print. And this purple wash, which is the B-side to Spring in the City. So all I'm going to do is use this to trace the shapes that I want. Cut them out a little bit bigger than the pencil line if I'm tracing inside, or you can pencil line the outside and then cut within the line, whichever works better for you, so that my clouds can all be filled with a variety of these 3 papers. Now, I just cut the pieces to back it. I just do it with pencil and scissors because I find that process quite enjoyable, more enjoyable than trying to cut all of the pieces again from all the different papers. However, if you prefer the computer cutting better, then you can do that by having a little go at making the file a little bigger so that these pieces that punch out in between would be cut from these papers and would end up a little bit bigger. Yeah, but that is just beyond the amount of time I prefer to spend on the computer for a scrapbook page. Everybody's threshold's a little bit different, so I do this part with pencil and scissors. If you want to use scraps and get the most from your paper, or you want to just plan ahead and have a little grid, because you're working on the back, I'm tracing the back, I can write on this side. This is not the side of the cut file that's going to show. Everything's going to be turned over. So I have 3 colors. I've got a yellow, a pink, and a purple, so I'm calling the purple violet. And I can then write down violet, V, yellow, Y, pink, P, and then I can go through all of my clouds that way so that I can see where they're going to go and cut exactly the right ones. Now, I will say that if it's a cut file where every single piece is exactly the same, then I don't do that at all. I just cut them all to fit. But because these clouds are not all the same, each cloud is a little different, I want to make sure I have the right pieces to fit. And I think this is the most efficient way for me to do that, rather than end up cutting a bunch of extras and trying to rejig it and make it work. So that's what I'm going to do. Violet, yellow, purple, violet, yellow, pink, yellow, pink, violet, yellow, pink, yeah, and so on until I get to the end. Traced all my pieces now. They will look, well, at least mine look completely wonky and everything, but that doesn't matter at all. So I just take each one and I cut. So I've traced the inside of the shape, so I'm cutting on the outside of the shape. And it doesn't need to be super detailed. It needs to be just accurate enough to sit within that border. So this is a yellow one. You can find the matching piece over here. That's going to be that one. And it just needs to sit behind there and not hang out the outside edges. That's a good fit. So now I just need to do the same thing for all of the pieces that I've traced. Everything's cut out now, so I can put adhesive onto the back of this, and I just do that by having a spare piece of paper underneath or something underneath so that I'm not just gluing my desk everywhere. But you can do it with a craft mat or anything like that. And then I have the fun part of finding which piece goes with which cloud. Now, if putting the puzzle together is so not your idea of fun, when you do the writing of the colors, you can also number them. And then as you trace, you can number your clouds, and then you have no puzzle to put together. You just follow your numbers. But this is how I do the adhesive. It's the same adhesive I use for everything. I am very much pro one adhesive to stick them all. And so I just go around and try to catch most of the edges. I don't find that I need every single spot. I just need enough to make it secure, because then when I stick it to the background page, there's going to be adhesive on the colorful spots too. And then there's going to be things on top. So outside edges, little places where each shape is going to catch so that there's enough to hold it on. But I don't worry about going in and going every single little bit. And it all ends up fine. I think if you did, if you're really good with a small tipped liquid adhesive, then you might be able to trace the whole design without any trouble. But I'm a bit too messy with liquid adhesive, so I try to avoid it unless I absolutely have to use it. That one, I have to make sure I don't miss any out. Okay, looking pretty good there. Then the colors give me an idea, and just try to get them all in place. Here's the back, all stuck together, but it looks like an absolute mess like this. But hopefully I don't have anything going over the edge. It looks like I've got a little bit going over the edge here, so I'm just going to trim this one, just like that. And we'll see what happens. Okay, so peeling this all up. And that's much prettier! Yeah, the front is nice and clean. I've just got one little bit where the cloud didn't cut perfectly clean. There's the tiniest little tag of paper on there. So I was just taking that off. Okay, and then that's going to go onto this background to bring that color scheme together. To pick up on all the purples in the photo. So now what? Well, I've got the branding strip taken off of that. I'm going to turn this back over now that I'm sure that it's fine. And run more adhesive to keep this in place. This is why I didn't feel like I needed to do every single edge when I do the cloud outline, because it's all going to have plenty more adhesive at this point. And then that into a nice spot that gives a border all the way around. Press that down so it's nice and secure. Now, that's the background all done. That's definitely the most time-consuming part of this type of process, but it is a really lovely look. If you like the look, then you'll want to do it with all sorts of different colors and different combinations and different shapes, of course. And then my photo is going to go in here. Now, I've printed my photo with a white border. If you're using a white cutout and your photo doesn't have a white border, then I would suggest starting by adding a white cardstock mat behind your photo. I'm going to add other papers behind the photo, but I find that when there are so many things going on in the background, the cut file makes the background quite busy, even though I only have the 4 patterns going, 3 in the clouds and 1 in the background. And that white frame just really helps when I'm going to put things behind this, and it helps bring it together with what's there. If you're cutting something that's not white, you might want to add a mat from the same color that you cut here around your photo, just so it brings everything together and the 2 pieces can start to feel like they go together, even though obviously they're different. You want to feel that they're a bit cohesive, and that is a really subtle but easy way to make that happen. I'm going to add in a bit of wood grain paper. This is from a 6x6 from Ellie's Studio, to just kind of give a little break from those colors in between the background and the photo, and to have something that relates to the background of the picture here too. I chose the pink, purple, and yellow off the colors in the photo, but this also brings in then the more natural element of all of the florals and wood, trees and vines and all of that sort of thing in the background. But then I also want a bit of color, because this is still quite a small thing on a big, busy background. I'm going to use a different yellow pattern, so it's the same tone, they go really well together. This is the Stargazing paper from Sparkle City, and I'm just going to cut a mat from that, as well as the wood grain. And I'm going to see how it works with this 3x4 card. Now this has the same pink, this is also Sparkle City, but it has the color that is actually the concentrated, the saturated little lines, but as a whole background. I'd really like to put these together. Yes, and then those 2 together are going to have a little bit more weight on the page and not be drowned out by the busy background. I want this to be beautifully detailed, but to always sit in the back a little bit more than the photo and all of the important bits on the front. So let's put those together, and I was wondering about if I wanted another mat behind there in pink. So let's have a look at holding a bit of some pink paper behind there and seeing if it's a good match. Just looking for scraps of pink that I have next here. I think this one is going to be too bright. Yeah. So if I am going to go with pink, it needs to be something softer. So I could use this one. This is same collection, different pattern. And I do quite like that one with the ones that I've chosen there. So I think I'll cut a box from this as well to layer these all together. Now I don't want it to be really rigid and perfectly centered inside each one. I want small little angles to feel a little bit more organic. And then this one over to the side, and tucked in between those layers. I think this darker blue is quite intense compared to everything else that's on the page. So bringing it in like this and having the wood grain go all the way to the pink there, and just having the frame on 3 sides really keeps it from being overwhelmingly bold. So that's where I'm up to with what's going to sit here, but I also need somewhere to journal and a title. So I've brought in some little die cuts, or put them on my desk. My dress has teacups all over it, so this is not only the right color, but also has a motif that's just right. So I thought I could tuck that one up here at the top. No, I think it needs to come closer like that. And I've got a box here. The balloons on this one are on one side, so that if you want the balloons in your visible, then you've got that side. But if you want to have just the blank label without the balloons, then you can tuck that, you can turn it over and tuck it that way. Or you can of course make it a vertical piece like that. So if the balloons don't match what you're working on. And these two little birds are also from the die cut pack, and they're made to go together so that you can frame your embellishment and have one over here and one down here, or if you're framing a photo they can go like that. But I like this sort of angle quite a lot, and I think it's about time that I get some pop dots in the mix there. Need a better place for this one, so I'm not sure where this one is going to go just yet. I think if I put it down here, the size is a little off balance. So I might just hold on to that one for the moment and get all of those bits in place. I'm going to start with the title next, and I'm going to use the Sunshine from these Vickers, same collection, and then add some words to the beginning of that to have it all make sense. So see if I can get the E to line up with the edge there. And there's a dot for the eye. And then the sun above that. Yeah, it needs to go this way. These smaller letter stickers are some puffy purple letters from Ellie Studio, and then the big ones are going to be Vickers from Sparkle City again in the blue. And those are, maybe I need to bring this closer here. The blue, these are foam, even though they look like chipboard. So it's a chipboard finish on blue foam. If you haven't seen these up close, they have a nice little blue shadow to the side, and these are on pink foam, the holographic ones. I'm not sure about the placement on those. I might move around the a few times until I get it in just the spot I want. But then I want read up here. Rejig these letters just a little bit, and there is the line going through the middle of the D. I don't think there's any getting around that with this sort of background, so I just try to minimize it and make it as legible as possible. I do still need somewhere for my journaling, and I'm going to bring in a little bit of the darker purple here that's in this card by using this one that says Shine All Day, which I could keep the arrow, and the sentiment works fine for this page. But I'm not sure about the arrow being the right mix with where I've got the teacups and the birds and the clouds. That's kind of enough, and flowers, it's enough. So instead, I'm going to flip it upside down and tuck it underneath these things here, so that I end up with a journaling card up there. So this is the right size to put date and location, and this one has enough room for the story. It's a relatively short story, and the lines are quite close together, so I can write pretty small. Then some sprinkly confetti to give it some finishing detail. Well, I have enamel dots from the collection, but I also have these holographic pieces, so I'm going to use the circles this time, although there are little stars there, so the stars could work too. But I'm just going to take these sort of obviously triangle shapes floating away from the embellishment spots. So one there, one down there. That's probably enough with those. And then I can bring in the turquoise, and this one is, I've been using the bluer tone, so I think that's a little bit too bright, but I can certainly use that purple and tuck that in with the title. Just tucking it under the letters so that it feels nice and connected. little triangle there. And then journaling to go on here. There we go, all finished. Pretty simple embellishment over the top because of all the detail and pattern in the background, but I really, really, really have a color crush on this combination of yellow, purple, and pink. And I think you might see a little bit more of that from me in some other projects, maybe with a different technique, different look altogether, but I'm loving those three colors together. Thanks so much for watching today. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I hope to see you for some more scrapbooking very, very soon. Bye-bye.